Okay. The water wheel is believed to have been invented by a Roman inventor named Vitruvius, who died in 14 CE and was the first used by the Romans. The water wheel dates back to as early as 4000 BCE and was first used by the Romans. This device requires a wheel container for the grain, a tube for it to fall through, a gear to turn the cylinder, and a grinder to be used on the grain that falls in. The water moves the wheel and pushes it around, causing the gear inside to turn and crush the grain. This device was invented to do tasks such as crop irrigation, the grinding of grains, and to supply drinking water to villages. Here is a diagram that displays the whole process as it goes through, as well as a diagram over here displaying how the irrigation systems worked.
First instances of these devices occurred in Persia in around 500 CE, and thus they are created this invention. The first ones to be made were a very large, simple yet intricate, and utilized a large structure. Above there was a large wooden beam with flags that allowed it to catch wind and spin. Then underground in a room, the pole is spinning around the rotation in a large bowl that crushes the grain inside. Much like the water wheel, this device uses a natural outside force to accomplish the task of breaking down grain.
And you can see that there is the spinning motion up here, as well as the building where you can enter to collect the crushed grain. And this is another image that shows the timeline and how this invention by the Persians gave way to many more inventions, leading to the current day windmill that collects energy for us, that help us do everyday tasks.
Strengths and limitations. The water wheel uses the kinetic energy of a flowing water to drive a wheel that is connected to a shaft which turns a gear to grind grain. The strength of the water wheel is the fact that it uses a clean and reusable energy source to do work, which is extremely reliable and always available. The limitation of the water wheel, though, is that a river drives it. The river can only produce so much energy, which limits the speed and torque that it can produce. The Persian windmill uses blades to catch wind that causes them to rotate, which creates rotational motion, which is transferred to a shaft which spins a ball to grind grain. The strength of a Persian windmill is that it harnesses clean, reusable energy in the form of wind. The downside is that wind is not a constant force, meaning that it could be unreliable or would have to be used at certain times.
As for the modern era, both devices are currently in use, whether they be the way they were used back then or the modern variations. The water wheel is used today in rural areas of India and Nepal to process grain in the very way it was used in the past. However, the windmill, while still used the same way in the past, in certain areas, is more commonly used in farms in the US, as well as the big electric ones that you can find on the side of a highway in places like Texas. They still grind grain and draw water from the ground in the fashion used in the past. However, they are also used to collect energy and other things. And these are the citations. Thank you.